Shocker is a 1989 American film directed by Wes Craven and stars Mitch Pileggi, Peter Berg, and Michael Murphy. It was Wes Craven's 12th feature-length film, give or take, depending on who you ask. And the plot follows a wanted serial killer with the ability to channel electricity for obvious nefarious purposes and a high school football player who believes that he can catch him. Shocker was yet another one of those movies that I had known about, and I wanted to watch it for a long time. Yeah, decades. But I only just got around to watching it. It happens, I guess. I mean, I was like 7 years old when it came out, and I do remember catching parts of it on TV back in the 90s. I thought it looked pretty cool. And now that I've seen it, I gotta say, not exactly what I expected. And I wish that I meant that in a purely good way, but not really. I mean, if it weren't for two things, I probably would have forgotten about this movie just years ago, just entirely. The first would be the obvious, which is, that this was written and directed by Wes Craven, horror royalty, right? We love him. And the second, on a personal level, would be Mitch Pileggi, because I'm a huge X-Files fan, have been since I was a little kid. His character in Shocker is, nothing like his character in X-Files, though, which is cool. And he does play the villain here, a serial killer and all-around menace, Horace Pinker. And I gotta say, man, Mitch does a good job at just absolutely chewing the scenery here, seemingly doing kind of his best, like, Freddy Krueger impersonation, because this is Wes Craven's writing after all, so you're obviously gonna get some of that, his writing style in there, I guess. But aside from some, like, fun special effects and a cool heavy metal soundtrack, that's kind of where the positives end for me. With the playful tone set at the beginning, and being a movie that's clearly ridiculous, I was kind of blindsided by the emotional aspects that this film goes for at times, at a lot of times, too. Peter Berg, gives a solid performance. He's a young dude, and I get why you're supposed to feel for him, but I don't really think it was needed, just at all, and I don't really feel like it worked at all. And I gotta be honest, I just don't think that this should have been anything but a fun, silly slasher. And that's honestly what I expected, and that's what I think it needed to be. But clearly Craven wanted something more, which he kind of always did. And I don't think it was just me that felt that way, because Shocker was originally supposed to turn into a franchise, but it just wasn't popular enough. I think it did okay, but it wasn't a big hit. And with all due respect to Sir Wes Craven, he just didn't have a lot of gas left in the tank at this point. And don't get me wrong, though, because the film does look pretty good on a technical level, minus the outdated special effects, because at the time they actually weren't. They were pretty state-of-the-art in some cases. The Horace Pinker, character is very fun, and, Mitch Pileggi gives it his all. And, and the way that he can jump from body to body is a gimmick you could do a lot with, I think. I'm giving Shocker a solid 5.5 out of 10. I know it's a cult classic for some people. It has its fans, but it doesn't do a ton for me. I don't see myself watching this all too often. I wouldn't say I would never watch it again. I had fun with it at times. I found it to be incredibly disjointed, and I didn't like how it tries to be, so much more than I personally felt that it should be. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.